Hi everyone! It's me again, your future educator for today's lesson. First, we will tackle about the sixth example of synovial joints. There we have a hinge joints, gliding joints, saddle joints, pivot joints, condyloid joints, and ball and socket joints. First, we will tackle about the ball and socket joints, or shall we call as spheroid joints. It is a type of synovial joints in which the ball-shaped surface of one rounded bone fits into the cup-like depressions of another bone. This dental bone is capable of motion around an indefinite numbers of axes which have one common center. And we will found the ball and socket joints in our body to our shoulders and legs, because the joints wherein spherical head of one part connects to the spherical cavity of another. These joints allow for freedom of movement in all directions of arms and legs. Like for example, this one. This one is a socket and inside is a ball. It is moving in any direction because this is the most moving joint in our body. Now, we will going to learn about the saddle joints. Saddle joints are similar to condyloid joints, but the connecting bone are shaped more like interlocking saddles. These allow for a greater range of motion than hinge joints, but those not allow complete rotation like ball and socket joints provide. This is my model for the saddle joints. It can move it in any direction, like this, in any motion of directions. But the best example of the saddle joints is our thumb. I hope that you learn for the saddle joints. Thank you and God bless. Next, we will tackle about the gliding joints. This is a type of joints in which the articulating surfaces of involved bones are flat or only slightly coarse. Joints are important structures in the body that connect bones and allow movement and shock absorption. The gliding movement, directions without significant rotary or angular movement, the most common example of gliding in just simply taking your hand and moving in from left to right in a waving motion like this. And also, we will find the gliding joints in our ankle, spine, and wrist. And this is my model for gliding joints. And it can move it side to side, front and back. And the best example of gliding joints is metacarpal bones of the hand, between the cuneiform bones of the foot. That's all, and thank you. I hope that you understand for this lesson. Now we will tackle about the hinge joints. This type of joints that functions much like the hinge of a door, allowing bone to move in one direction, back and forth with limited motion along other planes. And this is my example model for hinge joints. Hinge joints allow movement primarily in one plane. It is a monaxial joint. The bones fit together perfectly, one convex and the other concave. And the best examples of the hinge joints are finger, toes, elbows, knees, and ankles contain hinge joints. Hinge joints are complex and contain many muscles and tissues. I hope that you learned for this lesson. Thank you and God bless. Now, we will tackle about the condyloid joints. This is composed of an egg shape, a bone known as a condyle that fit into a similar shaped cavity. Although it sounds similar to a ball and socket joints, condyloid joints only allow for forward, backward, side-to-side movement and do not allow rotation. And this is my model for the condyloid joints. You can move it and side to side and back and front. This is the example of condyloid joints. Now, let's tackle about the pivot joints. This is a freely movable joint that allow only rotary movement around a single axis. The moving bone rotates within a ring that is formed from a second bone and adjoining ligament. Pivot joints located near and the elbow holds the two forearms bone, reduced and ulna together. The two bones, reduced and ulna, are also connected to each other near the wrist by another pivot joint. And then we have the one example of pivot joint. The pivot joint is found in our neck. And also, this is my model for the pivot joint. Pivot joints can move to left and to right, like this. And this is my example of pivot joints. I hope you can understand. Thank you and God bless.